That is the only word for what we just witnessed. Not a debate. Not a political skirmish. We have just watched the live, televised collapse of the British government. This isn't politics anymore. This is the final, agonizing death rattle of a regime that has not only failed, but has actively declared war on itself. The question is no longer if this government will fall. The question is what will be left of our country when it finally does. Don't be fooled. The mainstream media, the ever-loyal servants of the establishment, will tell you this was just a fiery exchange. They'll talk about leadership tensions and cabinet splits. They are lying to you. They are deliberately downplaying the sheer scale of this betrayal because the truth is too terrifying for them to admit. This isn't just a government in chaos. This is a government that is actively cannibalizing itself, and using the levers of power to do it. The infighting you see is not a sign of incompetence. It is a symptom of a much deeper disease. The complete and utter abandonment of public service for naked, personal ambition. It's the final, frantic scramble for power and position by a gang of political arsonists, fighting over the scraps of a nation they have already set ablaze. They call it the lobby. A cozy club where political editors trade their integrity for a juicy quote, a whispered rumor from a source close to the minister. They become part of the machine, stenographers for the state, feeding you the lines they've been given over a cheap glass of wine, normalizing a level of decay that should be a national scandal. Keir Starmer stood at that dispatch box today, a hollowed-out man, a ghost haunting the corridors of a power he never truly possessed. He claims he didn't authorize attacks on his own cabinet. Think about that. The Prime Minister of Great Britain has been reduced to denying he gave the order for his own office to brief against his most senior ministers. He has lost control. He is a prisoner in number 10, a puppet whose strings are being pulled by his own mutinous lieutenants and his shadowy chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, the unelected Svengali whispering poison in his ear, moving the pieces on the board from a back room nobody voted for. This isn't a civil war over policy or principle. This is a turf war. A mob hit. They aren't fighting over how to save Britain. They are fighting over who gets the biggest share of the spoils as the country goes under, feeding stories to their pet journalists in hushed conversations in Westminster bars, plotting their next move on burner phones. It's a disgrace. And this is where the picture becomes truly, sickeningly clear. This is the creation of the ultimate two-tier Britain. Two sets of rules. Two realities. One for them, and one for us. In their world, the world of Westminster, they squabble over their careers. The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, the Energy Secretary, Ed Miliband, all auditioning for the top job, briefing against their boss, positioning themselves for the inevitable collapse. They live in a bubble of self-interest, completely insulated from the devastation they are causing. Starmer boasts of 5 million extra NHS appointments. He doesn't tell you that for millions of us, that means a 10-minute phone call with a locum who's never met you, or being added to another, longer waiting list. He has the audacity to claim waiting lists are down, a lie so brazen it would make Pinocchio blush. He talks of a united team, while his own backbenchers are described by his office as feral in the wake of yet another U-turn, another broken promise. It is a pantomime of power, a disgusting charade played out at our expense. They have built a system that protects only themselves. A system where the culture secretary can allegedly break the rules to give a donor a top job, with no consequences. A system where the deputy prime minister is, by his own admission, clueless about how many illegal migrant sex offenders have been let loose into our communities. This is their Britain. A safe space for the corrupt, the incompetent, and the criminal, where they can fail upwards forever. Collecting their ministerial salaries and their gold-plated pensions, utterly shielded from the nightmare they have engineered for the rest of us. And then there is our Britain. The real Britain. The one you live in. The one they have sentenced to decline and decay. While they play their leadership games, 180,000 more of our people have lost their jobs. Unemployment is back to the levels of a national lockdown, but this time, there is no furlough, no support. Just the cold, hard reality of a broken economy. Starmer dares to talk about growth as businesses shut their doors and high streets become ghost towns, boarded up and abandoned. He dares to talk about investment while his own disastrous budget has triggered what is rightly called the tax doom loop. It's a death spiral, designed in the halls of Westminster to bleed you dry. You work harder, so they tax you more. The economy shrinks because of those taxes, so their only answer is to tax you again. It is economic sadism. It is the punishment of the productive to reward the political class. And what about the services you pay for? What about law and order? They've effectively decriminalized theft. Your local police force, hollowed out and brainwashed by woke ideology, will give you a crime number for your insurance, but they won't even investigate your home being ransacked. Yet, at the same time, they have the resources to hunt down people for saying the wrong thing online. That's their priority. Protecting their ideology, not your property. Protecting the feelings of the few, not the safety of the many. And our schools? Crumbling. Literally. They posture and promise reviews and inquiries while children sit in classrooms with ceilings that could collapse at any moment. Your child's safety is less important than a focus group report on gender pronouns. Try and find an NHS dentist. You can't. Our children's teeth are left to rot while illegal migrants are given free, comprehensive dental care the moment they arrive. Our pensioners, who built this country, are left in agony for 2 years waiting for a hip replacement, while the system bends over backwards for those who have never paid in a single penny. This is the brutal reality of their two-tier system. And when he's confronted with this nightmare, what is Starmer's solution? Not to cut the waste. Not to slash the foreign aid budget. Not to end the billions spent housing illegal migrants in 4-star hotels. No. His answer is welfare giveaways. Not to help the genuinely needy, but to buy votes. To bribe the public with their own money in a desperate, pathetic attempt to save his own skin. It is the most cynical act of a dying regime. He is sacrificing your long-term prosperity for his short-term survival. He is taking from your pocket to fund their own re-election campaign. It is unforgivable. It is a profound act of betrayal against every taxpayer, every family, every pensioner in this nation. The villain of this piece is clear. Sir Keir Starmer. A man so weak, so utterly devoid of principle, that his only defense is to blame the government that came before. He's been in power for years, yet he still acts like he's in opposition. He is a professional victim, a perpetual whinger, incapable of taking responsibility for the chaos he has personally unleashed. He is a coward. A man who hides behind statistics and deflections because he cannot face the British people and tell them the truth, that he has failed. He has broken the economy. He has lost control of our borders, a catastrophic failure overseen by his hapless Home Secretary Yvette Cooper. She, the ghost at the feast, wrings her hands and talks of complex challenges as our coastal towns are turned into open-air processing centers for the entire world. She has surrendered our sovereignty, not with a bang, but with a whimper and a spreadsheet. He has lost control of the NHS, surrendering it to his ambitious rival Wes Streeting, the smiling assassin who tours television studios talking about modernization while your grandmother waits 3 hours for an ambulance. His ambition is built on the suffering of the sick. He has surrendered our energy security to the failed ideologue Ed Miliband. The ghost of failures past, who has been given the keys to our entire economy. His net zero crusade is not an environmental policy, it is a religious dogma, and you are the heretic being burned at the stake of your own energy bill. He is sacrificing our industrial base, our jobs, our standard of living, on an altar of climate alarmism, all to appease his globalist friends at Davos. Starmer has lost control of his party, a nest of vipers exposed by the Rochdale fiasco. He has lost control of his own office. He stands there, a pathetic figurehead on a sinking ship, insisting the voyage is going splendidly. He is a liar. And behind him, the entire political establishment is complicit. And where is the opposition in all this? The Conservatives. They are the architects of this managed decline. They handed Starmer the keys to a broken kingdom. They are the other side of the same counterfeit coin, offering focus-grouped platitudes while agreeing on all the fundamentals: mass immigration, net zero, the surrender of our national identity. They are not an alternative, they are the warm-up act for the disaster we are now living through. The only voice of truth, the only one who warned this would happen, was Nigel Farage. The only movement that offers a genuine escape route is reform. They were ridiculed, smeared, and dismissed by the very people now presiding over this collapse. The heroes of this story are not in Parliament. The heroes are you. The British people. The ones who get up and go to work every day, despite being taxed into oblivion. The ones who raise families and care for their communities. The ones who see through this entire rotten charade and know, in their bones, that we deserve better than this humiliation. This is not a government in crisis. This is a nation in crisis. The feral infighting of the Labour Party is not just a political story, it is a warning. They are showing you who they really are. They are vultures, circling what they believe to be a carcass. They see Britain not as a country to be served, but as an asset to be stripped. They are like heirs to a great fortune, fighting over the silverware in a burning mansion, oblivious to the flames consuming the foundations. They are not leaders. They are scavengers. They are the administrators of our national decline. As they plot and scheme and brief against one another in their Westminster Palace, they have forgotten one crucial thing. They have forgotten who they work for. They have forgotten that the power they wield is only loaned to them by us, the people. And that loan is long overdue. This entire rotten structure is built on one lie, that we need them. We don't. They need us. They need our money, our compliance, our silence. And that silence is now being broken. So I ask you this, as they tear each other to pieces for the scraps of a broken kingdom, who is left fighting for you? If you believe this country is worth more than their pathetic power games, share this video. Force your friends and family to watch it. Let them know we are awake, we are watching, and we will not be silenced by their lies. Comment below with one word you would use to describe this government. And subscribe to this channel, because together, our voice is the one thing they truly fear.